Hey, if you get a chance today, Chris, this morning on the news, I was watching their tech segment. And they were talking about problems with Zoom, and hacking and this and that. But they were showing other things like Cisco had a product that was free. It sounded like, but they mentioned a couple others, and I got to go back on there. One of them sounded super easy, more so than that Jitsi or whatever it was I was talking about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But the link for that is Rich, like RICH, richontech.tv. If you want to look at any of the other alternatives, richontech.tv. With the one that caught my eye or ear on one of those was that the recipients didn't have to download anything. There's just immediate access.
Yeah. Yeah, this one, they upgraded some security and stuff like that. And I even have security button right on my screen now that allows me to lock the meeting.
Oh, nice.
If I didn't want people to chat or screen share, I can immediately change that. I can take the participants out.
Didn't he add a security on there, Chris, adding a second input or second passcode for each meeting to?
Yes, so you can probably the main problem that I was reading online with some of the Zoom stuff is people using the exact same meeting code for every single meeting that they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back through and changed some of ours to just have it automatically produce a code. So, and then if we need to, then I can put passwords on it. And so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Escrow Junction's working on some security issues this morning.
Wow.
Yeah, it was terrible.
What have we got for chats? Shannon. All right. Let's get going. Donnie, if you want to kick it off.
All right, 1 second here. Yeah, so today being follow-up Friday, what we wanted to do was kind of spin this a little bit. Typically we've been talking about follow-up Fridays, meaning following up with your clients, family, friends, things like this for any number of different things and how to approach it. But this morning we want to put a 180 on this, and we want to spin this back in your direction and follow up with you. So we wanted to take a few moments to maybe have a little bit of dialogue about how your week went with respect to executing some of the things that we've been doing. And I'm talking about anything from texting. How did you do in the texting category? How did you do in maybe some of the personal calls? But I think we'd all like to hear some input on this. I know I would, and I know leadership would. It's one thing to put this information out there, but it's another to execute. And it's not to put anybody necessarily on the spot, but what we want to do is continue to encourage as we move along. And sometimes I think the responses or the feedback that I'm hoping we'll get in a few moments will be just that, encouragement for everyone. So unmute or jump in there anywhere and let us know who did what maybe and how did that go for you?
How did your week go? What happened? What was good? What was bad? What was whatever?
Missing, maybe.
Yeah, because you're the same usual group here. So.
Good morning, this is Davetta.
Good morning.
Morning, Dee.
Good morning. I didn't get any response to my 5 text messages that I sent out. That was our homework that one day. But I did get some people who just Googled real estate agents, and I popped up, and they were buyers. but they're very adamant about actually going to the homes. And I was trying to get them to, virtual, and but I don't know if I was wording it wrong. I don't know what. I just need a little bit of help with that.
Okay. Well, I mean, you are still an essential business, so unless the homeowner refuses, unless I'm wrong, Donnie, unless the homeowner refuses, you absolutely can show homes.
Right. Yeah. Some of the suggestions have been for the owner, maybe, if they were adamant themselves or a bit worrisome, that they could step onto the back patio or into the garage perhaps, or something like that while you viewed, for some separations, if they didn't have an ability to go out to do something like shopping. You're still allowed to go to the supermarket. So you might say something like, well, Mr. Seller, had you had any plans this week on going to the supermarket? Perhaps I could do my touring, at that moment. So that might be a better approach on some of them. They do have to go out at that moment. If they don't have a problem with somebody looking at it like they normally would, that might work out well for you.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's going to be different. You're going to have the sellers like me that don't give a crap. You absolutely can come into my house because that's the point. I need to sell it. Yeah, if you want a virtual do it, then I'm game with that too. But yeah, you're going to have the in between. So maybe another thing you could try, Davida, is if that particular seller would be comfortable with just you going in there and videotaping or doing a Facebook Live, or not, a FaceTime, sorry.
Sure.
And doing that with your client.
Okay, so I also had an agent ask me if my clients were Asian. I had no idea how to respond to that.
Wow.
And it just kind of threw me, and I said, I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that.
And
I didn't
that
know
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but it just kind of threw me up. I didn't know what to say because it threw me.
Yeah. No.
So I knew where he was going with it. I was.
Well.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the right response on that one is just to nip it immediately. That's a question that really falls within a discriminatory category, and I'm sorry, we're all the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Money's green. Just like Sonia's screen.
Yeah.
Look at that rhymed. I'm a rapper.
Maybe going back to them also, D, would be to say, I think a more appropriate question is, are they showing any symptoms of any illness?
Okay. All right.
And you're going to kind of correct them in doing that. And I think that would be a great response, very professional.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for working on that, D. I will give you another tip in that category. I know we were doing the texting on Tech Tuesday, but try to implement that into your daily format, just the 5. I think we all know how fast it takes to do the 5 texts, but just incorporate that into part of your daily routine. And now it's a little bit easier to say, I've got time to create a routine perhaps, but also that I've got time to actually implement it at the same time. We had the daily work plan blank sheets for some time available when we were doing prior teachings. So your calendar, and you can jot it down with a pen and paper. You don't need the lines and all that. From 9 to 10, I'm going to do this. From 10 to 11, I'm going to do this, and so on. And just try to write those routines in there and just check them off as you go each morning or each afternoon, whatever category it is. Carve out an hour for watching some of the tutorials on Century 21 University. I mean, you guys have all seen some fantastic stuff in there. And again, it's kind of 2-pronged here. The first is to actually watch the products that are available for us and the tips and hints and tools. And the other is the actual application of. And so it doesn't do us much good if we do educate ourselves, but we don't apply. And we're not here to, browbeat or push people. What we're trying to do is assist and providing and encouragement at the same time. So anyone else have something, some stories they want to share? If you didn't even get responses, that's okay. Share that too. We want to just know that what's working or what's working better. Maybe one of the items that we've been talking about has been getting far better results than others. We want to hear about that too.
I know Candy Cane just got into the meeting, so we'll put her on the spot. If you want to unmute yourself, Candy, just tell us about your week. How has it been going? I know you've been in the office a bunch, probably printing postcards and mailers and all that kind of stuff. So just tell us about your week. You can unmute yourself, bottom left. Or I heard the space bar works too. Right. There you go.
Hold on, let me go in a different room because my husband's in a meeting too.
Oh, okay. We're taking a trip.
Yeah, through the whole house.
Who was on all fours yesterday sneaking around behind somebody, trying not to be seen? Who was that? Nicole?
Milo, my daughter's cat. He was meowing at me. He likes his attention.
That's weird.
But, no, I've been doing a lot of the mailings and just making phone calls. It's actually more like what I was doing, kind of touching bases with older clients that I've done work with in the past, or even clients that haven't done anything yet, but have been on the waiting game of working on stuff. So that's what I was doing yesterday, or actually all week.
How did those
kind of clean that up and get caught up with them.
All right. How did those conversations go?
They went pretty good. There's a couple that are still going to wait a little bit, but just till the virus. So that was actually kind of nice. Still in the works. Some of them are still working on credit. So I had some that were on that, but everything. So far,
I've not heard from anybody texting me on the side or anything else like that. I haven't heard of anybody communicating with anybody who said, you know what, I can't believe that you're trying to talk about real estate, during this time. Speak up if anybody heard that, because I have not heard.
No. Mine was very positive. They were, we actually talked about that a little bit and how they were coping with it and having, cabin fever. So we had some conversations like that, and they were positive that it's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
So,
a funny thing that I like to use humor in everything, and even in, circumstances like this, it helps to really break the ice a little bit, maybe even in your conversation, because I think we're all hearing it more so than not. And that is that people are I don't want to say frustrated, but their minds are boggled with the kids running around and everything, and they're trapped within their households and all this. And maybe you insert along the conversation something funny. Hey, sounds like it's time for you to have a larger home.
Yep.
I was listening to one of Brian Buffini's podcasts, and he said almost exactly that. He's like, through this whole thing, people are either going to fall in love with their home again, or B, realize with everybody in it that it is too small or too big, and they need to go a different route. Nadia put in the chats, I don't talk about real estate when I text, so that's good. I mean, everyone wants to chat. I mean, I have even picked up the phone and called my cousin, who I don't know is like a lifer renter, and even chatted on the phone with her, that is mind numbing to do that. And it's still one of those things. I'm such a social person. I want to talk. I want to be out there. And so, yeah, it's killing me being in stuck in these four walls. And yeah, I gotta, my wife always makes fun of me because I always want to get out.
I have a question.
Yes, Sammy.
I received an email late yesterday. Says lead offer from Zap, and I didn't know about it until last night, late last night. I called in, and I checked out the email. There was an attachment that gave me the client's name and phone number. I figured it was 11 o'clock at night. It was too late to try to call. I figured I'd do it this morning. This morning I look it up, and it's gone. It's not there anymore. Is there a way I can retrieve that?
Okay.
It sounds a bit odd, maybe, Sammy. I'm not sure about email formats from that, but
If you're being offered a new lead from Century 21 Desert Rock, you can just reply to accept it. Please note if you haven't responded within 4 minutes to claim this lead, it will be offered to another qualified sales associate.
There you go.
It's a question on one of my listings in Kern County. So if another associate gets it, I'll still get this transaction. But
Correct.
still, is there a way I can recover from?
No, you have 4 minutes to accept anything on any of your leads. If you don't within 4 minutes, it goes to another agent because the whole point is just to take care of the client.
I'm not sure, Chris, if anybody has ever tried or asked the question before, though. The distribution of let's say that particular one. Is there a way for Sammy to be able to find out what agent received that lead to communicate about the property itself?
Not that I'm aware of.
I used to get those from Zillow, where they would tell us who actually acquired, and if you wanted to communicate with them, you could. That wouldn't be a bad suggestion, because if it was an agent who missed it, they could at least go back to the agent who got the lead and talk up the property additionally. Just thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get back a little bit to input about how your week went. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Dee. Real quick, Dee, just another quick comment I was thinking of when Candy was speaking. Here it's great. Both of you are engaging customers. And even if your buyer is leery about anything, much like what Candy was just saying, you guys are really harvesting these buyers now. And as soon as the order is, it's okay to go outside, you guys are ready to hit the pavement running. Whereas many other agents are going to be scrambling just to find that lead in itself. So congrats to you guys. But jump in there. Anybody else?
What do we got? We got Linda Jansen. We have Eddie Lourdes. Anybody have anything they want to talk about for how this last week went?
I do.
All right, Linda.
Hey, I was just calling back clients that I had been talking to in the past, and the one guy kept kind of bugging him for the last month and a half, and I thought, oh, during this time, he's probably not going to be interested in anything. But I called him and he says, okay, let's do it. So I took in 2 land listings, but you just have to keep calling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't know also when you're going to get that person at that particular moment where he's like, yep, I'm done. Let's do it, kind of a thing. So keep at it.
Yes, I see Shannon's got a comment in there. Very good, Linda. She wants to know, where are they?
Oh, they're in Hesperia over off Juniper across from City Hall, and they're side by side. They're being they are side by side, I had called the city and they can be merged together. They're multifamily properties, both of them, so that they could build more than what they could build per lot if they merge them. And it's not that hard to merge them, is what I was told from the city.
Weren't those zoned R3?
Yes, multifamily.
Right. Yeah, so anybody's got somebody might thinking about building a duplex, perhaps triplex. I'm not sure if you could squeeze a fourplex on there, but for anybody who's got an investor or developer thinking about buying, building, investing for something like that. Do you know, Linda, if those have sewer on them?
Sewer's right around the corner. It's on the back side, right behind them.
Okay. Do you know if you were to put those two together, do they exceed 15,000 square feet?
Yes, they do, because they're both a little over 10 each.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of you who are tuning in out there, if you don't know, a lot of the minimum requirement for building must be greater than 15,000 square feet, at least in Hesperia. Otherwise, you have to connect to sewer if it's available. Okay,
awesome.
Anybody else in there? Jump in there. Thank you, Linda, for that.
Thank you, Linda. was about Eddie or Sylvia. How was your guys' weeks? You can just unmute yourself, bottom left corner. If you want to
Mine
talk.
was pretty good. This is Sylvia.
Hi,
I was
Sylvia.
just catching up on the people that were working on their credit and some of my Op-City clients. So I have a lot of time to organize myself and stay in good communication with them.
Yeah, it's another great time to catch up on all the Century 21 classes too. They're only an hour a piece. Lots of stuff, buyers, sellers, open houses, doing them virtually, sphere of influence, all of them are phenomenal. Couple good ones coming up today. We have the open houses from their couch again. It's later on this afternoon. And supercharged lead conversion. That one was really good. I was on that one Wednesday night. That was really, really good. So definitely tune into that one. That one's at 10 a.m. And then the open houses from their couch is at 4.
Yeah, and speaking of that one, I wanted to ask if anybody tuned in on that. And I think what Chris had just mentioned in watching one of the other ones, if you guys see something out there that really resonated with you, let us know. We want to share that for sure.
Yeah, Davita was on the open house one.
I was on that.
Yeah, Linda
I'm sorry.
Hoff, Sonia.
I was on that yesterday. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you're good. You're good.
I was on that yesterday, and it is really, really good. Even for seasoned agents, it's for everybody, and it's plain English. It's really easy to follow. The lady, Mary Beth was her name, I believe.
Yep.
She was amazing. So I highly recommend it to everybody.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Dee.
Yeah. And if you got something going on this morning, then the open house one's at 4. So if you, let's see, who else is out there?
Anybody else? Anybody feel like you have too much free time on your hands by any chance?
It's a loaded question.
Yes. I saw a text on the news this morning. They were sharing some funny texts, and one wife responded by saying, "My husband has become one with the couch." So don't forget, even if you're one with the couch, you can tune into Century 21 University. I challenge you to watch more than you do on Netflix.
Yeah. Anything from Mr. Knight before we head off into the great wide open?
Nope. You guys pretty much covered everything, and just I'd reinforce the Century 21 classes that everybody should be watching at least one of those a day. They're relatively short. They're all engineered and created towards succeeding in this market. Most of this content you would have to pay money to get normally by attending 121 or a Century 21 leadership class or something like that. In this case, they've taken successful classes, modified them, and in some cases created new content that you can take as part of a system benefit from the couch. So I would challenge everybody, watch one a day and incorporate that into your routine.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I have 2 questions before I sign off also. The first one is really geared towards you guys for us, and the other one is really geared for you. So the first one is, are we providing for you? Is there anything that we're lacking in providing for you? We want to hear about that. It doesn't matter how small you think it may be, whatever your challenges may be. If it's in a training mode issue, you can certainly let Chris or I know, and we can reach out and schedule certain things for you. I did some land disclosures for 3 agents the other day, spent an hour and a half on a meeting with them to go through them one by one. If you guys feel that you need anything like that in the interim of our training schedules, we want to know about that. We don't want you to be stumbling or fumbling out there if you're in the middle of something, for sure. But otherwise, look for our calendars. I know that Chris has put that in Rock and Rose for you on the regarding the workplace classes that are available. Just this enormous amount that we've been talking about the last couple of days.
Yeah,
so,
emailed it as well.
So be sure to let us know if there's something like that in there that you guys need or that we're lacking. So that's the question for you out there. You can respond to Chris or I or Mike or all of us in that regard. Linda Jansen likes the meetings on her note there. We appreciate that. You know, we put a lot of time into trying to find you guys content that's not dry or repetitive and that really will help you excel. I think Mike has said it before that, you know, we're not really your employers. You're independent contractors, and we're facilitators through the brand of encouragement with tools and everything you need, support and coaching in order for you to succeed. So we hope that you really recognize that, but we want you to utilize that at the same time. So my question back to you now, not so much for us, but it's for you, because as I just mentioned, you're independent contractors. So this is a tough question. It's kind of a straightforward question. Are you holding yourself accountable? So like I said, it's a tough question, and I want you to wrestle with that one a little bit because that is a question that ultimately leads to success for you. I've said it time and time again over my career, it doesn't matter how experienced you are or are not, one very simple question, the answer to it will dictate how your career will go. And it's so simple. The question is, how many people did you reach out to today? How many contacts did you make today? It's so simple like that. So we have all of the tools, things like that, but hold yourselves accountable. You know, I know it's difficult when we're sitting here kind of talking about this, perhaps to say, you know what, I probably could have done more text this week, or, you know, they're asking us what kind of responses that we got, and we didn't necessarily really do much this week. You know, I think that the one thing, you know, I'll use it like maybe alcoholics do, if you would, you know, and not to put anything down in that category, but the first thing they have to recognize is the issue. And so that's what I challenge you guys to do, is to recognize your own accountability, what it is that you're doing out there, because we want you to succeed. We want your families to prosper with you and be something that you can be proud of as a career. So I hope you guys appreciate all of this stuff. I know we had a couple comments in there, but we're really thinking about you guys. We love you guys, and we want to help you guys.
All right. Anybody have anything else before we sign off?
Just a reminder that we do have our next virtual office meeting on Tuesday at 9 a.m. We're going to be covering a number of updates regarding the market, the economy, and just a bunch of information you need to know regarding succeeding and thriving in this new market.
Yeah, happy Good Friday to everyone. And
guys,
if you hadn't thought about it, there's lots of services for Easter online. Just reach out if you have any need for that. And but a lot of people will be attending lots of different things. So have a wonderful weekend. Happy Easter to everyone.
Oh, tonight is a virtual happy hour again. 5 o'clock if you want to attend.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.